believe that you have this meeting, don't you?
I do. Hi,
So-
everybody. How are you guys today?
Excellent.
It's great.
Good.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, sun's shining, so it's definitely going to help everybody, I believe. Let's get this started with Bill Allison. There has been some changes regarding COVID and a step back in phases, and Bill's going to address how that's going to affect us within real estate.
Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. So we've been doing so good on COVID and getting vaccines and everything else. However, the governor has decided that 3 counties are going to be rolling back. Now we don't typically deal too much in Cowlitz County or Whitman County, but Pierce County is rolling back as well, right? So a lot of us deal with Pierce County, and the rollbacks are going to be in effect on April 16th. So that is this Thursday, right? Or sorry, Friday. That's this Friday, Thursday, Friday. Somebody help me out. But know that it's this week. So what does that mean for you? It's really not going to mean too much when it comes to coming into the office. The offices are opened up at 50% capacity, so you guys are able to be here, everything else. Where it's going to have the biggest impact for you as an agent is for open houses in Pierce County. Right now, you're able to have 10 people plus the broker in the open house at any given time. Now, starting April 16th, it is going to drop down to 5 people plus the broker. Okay, so just know that you got to just shrink those numbers in half starting April 16th. So this weekend, if you have an open house in Pierce County, okay, you're going to have to roll the open house. Only 5 people are allowed in the open house. Everything else is staying the same, guys. Still have to wear face masks, still have to do all the necessary things to make sure that everything is copacetic, okay? Any questions on that? See, when there's no questions, that means I answered everybody's questions right away. That's beautiful. And I got Jay's thumbs up, so I'm good. All right. So I'll turn it back to you, Miss Lindy.
Yeah, sure. So we are blessed to have 3 really strong agents share with us how they're doing in this crazy market. I've had the opportunity to meet with just about all of you guys on this call, give or take. And we're hearing a lot of ups and a lot of downs. So I wanted to take some time to sit with these agents and go over how they're winning in this market. And so let's introduce them. So we've got Katie, Carmen, and Lindsay with us today. Ladies, can you say hi?
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Lindsay, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a geek. That is probably the first thing that you'll notice about me because that's my branding too. And I started as an assistant for Mary Kay Horton at the Federal Way office. So I did get a little bit of extra back-end knowledge before I got started. I have a dog. You can see him on Tiny Tuesdays on my business page. And I just really love having this career. It has completely changed my life.
I love it. Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I had been in sales my whole life. I worked for a packaging company for 19 years before I got into real estate. And I grew up in the Northwest. I've lived here for 30 years. I have 2 girls that are 2, she just turned 3 and 9. And I'm married and I live in Bonnie Lake.
I love it. And Carmen, share with us a little bit about yourself.
I have been in real estate since 2016, and I started in a team with the Serial team, and now I am a solo agent since 2020.
Nice. I love it. Awesome, guys. All right, so let's jump right into it. Share with us your guys' wins in the listing side of things. How are you guys finding that side of the business, and how are you finding those wins?
For me, it was just reaching out to people and making it known that I'm an agent. My first listing was someone that I hadn't spoken to in 10 years from high school. She found out mostly through social media. I hadn't even gotten to reaching out to her personally yet. And from there, it's been anyone who I am making contacts with regularly.
Okay, so it sounds like it's coming from your sphere and specifically generation around that.
Yes.
Awesome. What about you, Katie? Where are you finding your success with listings?
Yep, 90% of my listings have been for sale by owners. I have gone after them really strongly, and I thought it would be my network because I know everyone here. I lived here my whole life, and so, but I'm not a waiter, so nothing was happening. So I'm like, and it's been challenging. For sale by owners are not easy, but I've done 10, and I've only been in business for 6 months. So almost all of my listings have been for sale by owners up until recently.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Carmen, what about you? Where are your listings coming from?
So it's my sphere. I have 3 beautiful children and I volunteer at the school. And everybody in the school knows that I'm a real estate agent. And I got a listing from the teacher. I got a listing from a friend. I got another listing from a past client. And just my sphere, talking to everybody, just letting them know, and always showing up with my jacket with Keller Williams.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So I'm hearing a trend from all 3 of you guys, and it sounds like you guys are not secret agents. Your lead generation involves conversations around being a real estate agent. You're talking to people about being a real estate agent. And Katie, you're actively pursuing what we would call cold leads with for sale by owners. And those are always super fun conversations. I did for sale by owners when I was in sales as well. So tell me about the road of starting that habit, right? When we're newer agents, sometimes listing seem to be this entity that's kind of hard to grasp, and it's really what we need to be focusing on. So how did you guys make the shift from only lead generating for buyers to also finding listings along the way? What did that journey look like?
I never limited myself to just buyers.
Mhm.
I didn't even let that enter my mind. My first closing was a listing. So it was just all, I guess, mindset for me, because I just was like, yeah, I want listings. I don't want to drive everywhere.
Smart. Okay. So you started with that mentality of you're going to do listings.
Mhm.
Okay. Katie, how the heck did you get into for sale by owners? How did you go down that
I
road?
think my first 5 were for sale by owners, like listings, all of them. See, I really wasn't sure how to go after buyers. Like I wasn't sure, like if somebody I knew wanted to buy, like I knew that I could contact them or what, but I wasn't sure how to target buyers. I wasn't sure, but I knew where the for sale by owners were. So, yeah. So I went after them to begin with. That was all I had at first. I've done buyers now, but in my 6 months, 10 of my 15 have been for sale by owner listings. So yeah, and don't get me wrong, almost everyone says no, but there are some yeses.
So what systems do you have in place for the follow-up for sale by owner?
So I do a lot of follow-up with them. I try to check back with them weekly, and a lot of times they want to go it on their own first, and then they realize it's not happening. So I almost always comment. They're always more challenging. They're definitely like the ones that you don't necessarily want if you were cherry picking them. but a listing is a listing, especially when you're new. So yeah.
Yeah, and Katie, you know what I love about what you just said too is they want to go at it on their own at first, right? But do you guys realize that 84% of all for sale by owners end up going with a real estate agent at some point?
I've had
Right.
ones that had it on their own for 3 months, and I listed it 50 grand higher and it sold in 3 days. They just don't have the reach. Nobody buys houses on Facebook, let's be honest. So
Great point. Carmen, what about you? How are with your listings?
Yeah, my story is different from both of you. I started as a buyer agent, and my first listing was a walk-in, and it was $1 million listing.
Nice.
So that was my first listing. And the second listing, it was a friend from school. Then after that, I thought that I can only do buyers. For some reason, I was limiting myself at that time. Then I met Lindsay, I met Rita, I met Carmen, everybody at the office, because I was in a team. I didn't really knew anybody else, just my team, right? So I knew when I started being solo agent, I didn't know I have a team, and it's the Federal Way office and all the people there. And I still count on the serial team. They still help me if I ask for help. They're very, very, very helpful. So I was just like, I need time. I have 3 children. I need to leverage my time. And buyers are very, very time absorbent. So I love buyers. I mean, I love looking at homes. My kids come with me and show the homes. Still, I see so much leverage on listings. So now that I did it and I got being myself by myself, I thought I was never going to be able to do it. And I did it. I got 6 listings in the last 6 months.
Nice.
So for me, you know, jumping from nothing to this, it was proud of me. I'm proud of me. And I'm always thanking Lindy because she was there. You know, when I felt lonely, she was there. So thank you.
Of course, yeah. And so let's jump into that a little bit about there's you know, we've got dogs and tiny humans and a life, right? So juggling being a newer agent, developing the skills and building your business, and then having a life, you know, at the same time, right? So we always talk about Keller Williams Life by Design. Obviously, we know, like Carmen just talked about, listings give us leverage. So how are you guys taking care of yourself while still building really strong businesses in the market that you're in? What's a piece of advice you'd like to share to our agents?
Make your calendar your boss.
Oh, tell me more about that.
You have to set aside time for yourself, like particularly for taking care of yourself. You need to put it in the calendar. I know Bill's smiling at me because this is something that I had to learn so I didn't burn out. And you have to make sure that you are strict to it, you follow it. Anything that your calendar tells you to do, which you told your calendar to tell you, you need to do.
Yeah, got it. I love that. It's so true. So super true. What about you, Katie and Carmen?
I am still struggling with that quite a bit. But one thing that I had a really hard time with at the very beginning and better at now is asking for help. If I can't do it, I either tell them I can't do it or I'll find somebody to help me do it. Like if there's a showing, I always want to say yes to everyone all the time. And sometimes I can't, I just can't. So if there's a only time that works for them, I just get on our page and ask for somebody to help me. And I've met several awesome other agents that have showed for me, and I do the same for them. I wouldn't be able to do it on my own, I don't think. So I was afraid to say, oh, I didn't want them to think that having somebody else show them was like I didn't have time for them. But it just means that I have other stuff going on too, and they understand.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Miss Carmen?
So I met with Lindy and she explained some things that I didn't have clear for me before. So my kids, driving them to their classes or spending time with them or going through homework, those are appointments. So you block your calendar as an appointment and you don't have to tell your clients. You just say, oh, I have an appointment that time. I do have somebody else that can help you with that. Like Katie say, ask for help. It took me a while. I'm still working on it. Same thing, still struggling. I think that's the best. Best. Ask for help. I mean, ask anybody, Bill, me, and if I don't know the answer, I will guide you to somebody that does. So just ask for help. Ask anyone because they might have the answer.
I love it. All right, so I'm hearing trends. I'm hearing use the systems that we're talking about, right? The calendars, time blocking, and then I'm hearing a trend of making sure you're asking for help, right? A cool thing about Keller Williams is there's not a single person that's not willing to stop and answer a question or guide you along the way. So ladies, thank you for being great examples and starting from the beginning of building really strong habits. I'd like to open it up and see what questions we have for everybody that's kind of listening to this that you have for these 3 ladies and everything that they're doing.
I have a question. Lindsay, I remember, were you the one that did the postcards of your listings?
I have done them in the past, but I don't think I talked about that in 12 Weeks to Mastery. So,
okay, I wasn't sure, but somebody had done that. And so now I'm in the process of putting down my my own home, my last listing. And then I'm going to mail those out into my farming area, which is here in Puyallup. But another great thing is on the training, Cole had showed us how to do on command the videos for certain areas in your neighborhood, and then you can post that on Facebook. And so I just messaged Crystal because I was having some technical difficulties with that, but it's a really cool feature. And so the more you guys share those kinds of tools with me, I really appreciate you, because that is really how I'm getting feedback, message, whether it doesn't even follow through, but just if somebody's reaching out, they know now that I'm an agent and they'll give me a call. They're thinking about it. So then I get them, get the ball rolling, create an opportunity and kind of cultivate that. So I'm really trying to focus on my organization skills. So I appreciate that, you guys.
I love that. What else, you guys? What would you like to know about what these three are doing at a high level?
I'd like to know more about the FSBO leads.
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah. Where are you finding those for sale by owner leads? What resources are you using to identify them?
I told you I'd have to kill you. Just kidding. Yeah. I find them online. On Zillow or, on the marketplace on Facebook, I look everywhere. So my friends send me pictures of signs that have people in their yards. And I really have learned to get thicker skin because they're not always very nice. But yeah, I look everywhere. Anybody, it's so funny. Half my text messages are like, look at this sign. And then I'm like, are they selling a boat? Are they selling, what are we selling? I'm like, so you have to weed them out kind of, but yeah. And on Zillow, there's a lot of for sale by owners.
Agreed. So Katie, can I put you on the spot? I'd love if you'd be open to role playing with me. I would be the for sale by owner. What does it sound like when you call a for sale by owner? What are you saying to them? Are you willing to role play with me?
Yeah, I don't usually call.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I usually message them either text or on Facebook or email.
Okay.
And I don't really say much at first because I don't want to seem super salesy. But I just say, I've seen that you've listed your house for sale by owner. Have you considered using an agent? And if so, would you be interested in chatting? Like super simple. And a lot of times they say no, but they're like, a lot of times they'll give me an objection that I have an answer to, like that it's expensive or whatever. And I just tell them why you should use an agent. And a lot of times it's not right away, but they'll think about it, or if it doesn't go well. But yeah.
I love that. So from your experience, how many follow-up conversations do you have to have before you get the appointment or you take the listing?
So we say follow up, like how many times do I initiate conversation is what. So on average, probably quite a few, maybe 5 or something like that. Usually between 3 and 5, I would say.
That's pretty good. That's really good, actually. So a standard, you guys, for follow-up for anybody is like the 7th or 8th reach. So keep that in mind when you're lead generating, right? Like you're not always going to get a yes on that first conversation. It's always on the follow-ups. So building your pipeline and being consistent with these activities, you'll get results like what we're seeing with these ladies.
And if they don't say no, even if they have objections or whatever, then I reach out again. If they don't flat out say no.
Yeah, keep going. I love that. So what's your pipeline look like, Katie? How many of these for sale by owners are you talking with at one time to be able to get 10 in 6 months? What did that look like?
I message probably 100 a week or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. And everybody else I talked to other agents about it, like a few in our office, and they're like, it doesn't work for me. Like, what's the deal? Like, and I think not being too salesy is the biggest thing. It has to be like really casual conversation, because if the minute they think you're trying to sell them something, they're done. So I think it's really, really hard. That part's really hard. But yeah, I just keep checking in. And then in my second one, I just say, just checking in. How's it going? Like, have you had a lot of interest? Really, really basic. And yeah.
So it sounds like you're just building the relationship with them. So when they're finally ready to make a decision, you're right there in front of them, right?
And the part of the reason I'm doing so many is that I have a ton of people I know that want to buy right now, but it's not going, I mean, it's really hard right now, as we all know. So I've got all these buyers I'm looking for, and I'm writing offers like crazy and not getting as many as I wished. So I had to find another way to, you know, like I said, I'm not a waiter. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you took ownership, right? You figured out what was that one activity you would do, and you did it, right?
and I
Like,
hate cold calling. That's why I don't do it. If I don't have to, I don't call. So I'm terrified. My skin is not very thick. I'm not used to people being, I'm used to people coming to me to buy something, not the other way around. So yeah, my skin has gotten thicker for sure.
when you're building your confidence, right? And you're building
For
your
sure.
scripts on how to handle those objections as they come up. I love that. I love that a lot. What else what other questions do you guys have? We have 10 more minutes. And then keep in mind, even after this call, all three of these guys are more than happy to answer questions or, you know, come from contribution. They've all mentioned how others have poured into them, and they are geeked to do the same for you guys. So keep that in mind.
Lindsay, I know you talked about your calendar being your boss, right?
Mhm.
That wasn't always the case for you.
Very true.
So what system did you put in place to allow your calendar to be your boss?
I kept working on my 411 over and over again to get to know what I needed to do so then I could put it into Google Calendar. And then I also have my little Google Nest device that tells me when I need to do things.
Mhm.
So it's always, I never have to go far to see what I need to do. It's going to be one click away. It's on my phone. It's like the first thing I see. I always have the browser open, and really it got down to committing to following my 411 after really understanding it. It takes some time to understand it. If it seems like it's so far out there to try and get down to what you need to do every day, just keep looking at it, keep thinking about it, keep trying
And how often do you look at your 411?
every day.
Every day. And that's what
Multiple times a
sets
day.
your calendar then for the following week.
Yes, and I have it on a binder. So I will literally be carrying this around with me everywhere I go.
Okay. Because we hear a lot of agents, right, that come up and say, I just don't know what to do today, right? I don't know what to do. And yet, Lindsay, I mean, I when you and I first started together, right, and stuff, it was you started to learn to take control of your calendar, and that all came from the 411. That's beautiful. I love that. That's why that's
Also
really good.
accountability. Having someone that I needed to tell what I was doing, that
Yeah.
was the other part of it that really helped it. As soon as
Yep.
you have to tell someone whether or not you did something, oof.
So to all these new agents, if they need clarity, they need to sit down with one of you, even Bill or Lindy, and they need to go over the 411 because I had limiting beliefs. And when I filled that form with Lindy, it was an hour. After that, I start closing like 4 a month because I have clarity. I knew my goal and I knew what I have to do. And I recommend you guys reach out and make sure you guys do that. Do your 411.
I'm just curious who on the call doesn't know what a 411 is. No judgment. I'm just curious. Do you guys know what that tool is? Katie? Okay.
Not. I wish I did. I'm so going to find out after this.
So we have tools here at Keller Williams, right? Like of how we do business planning with our agents, right? So there's two tools, the 135 or the GPS and the 411. The 411 is a resource that you look at every day. Instead of using it as a report where you fill it out once and you don't look at it, you go back to a 411 weekly or daily, and it allows you to pivot your business. So you're going to put in your job goals, your business goals, personal and personal finance, and then you chunk it down into activities weekly, and then you adjust. So instead of us sitting down once every 3 months to be like, oh, I really have to course correct on my goals because I'm very far behind, you're able to look at it in weekly increments and do smaller adjustments and pivot in real time to make sure that you're staying on track for your business. So Katie, I'd love to sit with you and we can create that together.
Yeah.
And anybody else that didn't know about that resource or has, feel confident with it, I'm more than happy to sit down with you guys and pour into your business and build that business tool. But those are the kind of resources that allow you to go from entrepreneurial to purposeful and being consistent in the results, right? We all heard about that really terrible real estate roller coaster where it's up and down and your business is fantastic and then it goes back down. And that's just because we have an inconsistency in activities and in your pipeline. All of that's totally fixable with accountability, like Lindsay mentioned, and the tools in place like Carmen and Katie and all of them are doing. So more than happy to pour into you guys to keep that going. So you three lovely ladies, what's the last piece of advice that you want to share to everybody that you think would help move them forward this week?
Get out of your own way.
What do you mean by that?
Don't overcomplicate things. Don't get too creative. Bill is going to just be laughing at all of this because he was coaching me when I first joined on, but just, you know that you need to do lead generation. That's the one thing. Don't overcomplicate it. Make the calls. It will go great and you'll be surprised that you can get through it.
Awesome.
I think say yes. I say yes to everything. Not in the way like overcommitting myself, but if someone is looking for a rental, I say yes because they might buy next time. Or if somebody needs to sell a mobile home, I figure out how to do it. If somebody wants to do a listing in Alaska, sure, because it all gave me experience. I've done so many different types of listings in the last 6 months that I would have never known how to do. I did a really complicated for sale by owner, and then he bought a duplex, and I was like, thank gosh I said yes to that, you know. So say yes, because to the open house, to the showing, to the everything, because it'll give you experience that you need.
I love that. All right, Carmen, what about you?
Look for classes. And like I say, ask for help, reach out. Hey, what classes do you think can help me? How can I grow? And everyone is different. So you have to find your own way and you have to find whatever makes you feel comfortable. For me, it's talking to everybody around me. So I go to the gymnastics, I talk to everybody. I go to jiu-jitsu, I talk to everybody. So everybody knows that I'm doing that. And if I don't sell myself, I sell my husband, but both of us have business. So that's the best way. Just tell everybody and why you love it and why you enjoy it. And people see it. People see it and they will follow you because of your, like, why you want to make a difference on.
I love it. I love it. All right. So to wrap it up, what I hear you guys saying is lead generate and have conversations around real estate. Gary Keller said himself, it is not a work day if we didn't lead generate. So keep that in mind. 2, find systems that you want to implement to keep your business moving forward. And 3, reach out and, you know, reach into the community of agents and other leaders in the area to see how we can support you. Thank you guys so much for being on the call and taking time out of your busy day. Carmen, Lindsay, and Katie, thank you so much. Did we answer all of the questions in chat?
I believe so. And I believe we did, Lindy.
There's
go
a
ahead.
question about adding about these 3 lovely ladies' contact information. If they could throw their email addresses in the chat, that'd be fabulous.
Yep.
So while they do that, I just want to recognize real quick, Lindy, if I may. Many of you have seen the announcements go out in that now, but today is Cole Finley, the team leader of Keller Williams Mountain Sound. She's on this call. So Cole, if you could turn on your camera, that would be lovely. But this is Cole's last team meeting with the Ranch Brokerage Network. She is taking on an opportunity, an incredible opportunity to be the director of productivity down in Arizona with 3 current market centers and going into 5 market centers. And I know this is an incredible opportunity for you, but Cole, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for our agents and pouring into them. I would not be at KW if it wasn't for you. And because I came here really and truly because of you. And it all started with me telling you, hey, I'm just here to spy on you. And you're like, perfect. And we developed such a friendship. And so I just want to wish you and Steve the very, very best and say thank you.
Thank you, brother, man. I appreciate it. And just everybody else, thank you so much. You guys have just done so much pouring into me and support of me that love you all to death, and I'll miss everybody.
Perfect. So, well, make sure that you guys give Cole, text her, call her, let her know how much you appreciate her. Thank you for everybody that's putting stuff in the chat. But to all of you, listen, the sky is the limit. Don't let your limiting beliefs get in your way. Right? You can do anything you want, and Lindy and I and the entire staff are here to help you anytime you need it.
All right, make it a great week.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.